Hello there, my name is Linda, also known as Tortagialla around the internet. I love creative journaling and all things stationery, and today I wanted to share my latest planner reset with you and show you a new planner that I purchased. It is the Poprun Daily Planner in the small size. So grab a cup of coffee or tea, cozy on in. I definitely love these types of videos where they're sort of like story time to get you up to speed on how I ended up with using this new planner. I haven't seen anyone talk about this planner before on YouTube. It's probably not like trendy or cool enough, I guess, but that's why I wanted to share it because it seemed like it was missing. So, going back to story time of how I ended up here. To begin with, this year has definitely been rocky. I think it's been the case for many people that I've been following and seeing on YouTube as well. So, for me, in terms of planners and organization, as usual, we all have good intentions for the beginning of the year, but by the end of January, like a whole month had flown by, and I felt just so unsatisfied and lost in all the things that were related to my planning and my creating, journaling, all that kind of stuff. And obviously, I think that can happen sometimes. It's just like a creative slump. There are ups and downs. Perhaps it's a lack of motivation or just feeling like very blah about many things. But I realized that often if there's like turmoil or unsettled things in other parts of my life, it definitely spills over into this part, right? In terms of planning and journaling and organization, like all of my things, just how I'm feeling in general. So I definitely took the time to like rest and recharge and really think like hard about what do I really need and also what brings me joy as well as the functionality when it comes to planning and of course spilling over to like journaling and all the creative things that I enjoy in the stationery world. So I have mentioned in my previous videos that usually I throw away my planners. I've never been like a pretty planner because I'm messy. Like when I start to write fast, things get crazy. And I write things down so that I don't forget, or maybe I'm trying to work something out, so I need to write it down on paper. But ultimately, it's all trashed because I don't find it to be like relevant or something that I want to actually see again or reference or keep. One, it's really messy, so I don't like it and I don't want to keep it. And I have so many like memory keeping journals and creative journals and sketchbooks already. It's almost like I have always just thought, okay, let me just, cut all the planners because there are plenty of other things that I'm already keeping. So in the past, I have used like printable planner pages using discs. I also have little pocket planners, like off and on I've used. What happens usually is that I have kids, and in the summertime, when my kids are out of school, our normal life routine, like, obviously gets shaken up. There might be a lot of travel, so my planner just gets neglected. I really don't plan, and I fall much deeper into, like, the journaling and memory keeping, so the planning just, like, falls off. So another reason why my planners were like they were literally just like a tool for when I needed to use them and not really for keeps. They would be like probably part of like June, July, and August that are like just empty. So for 2024, I definitely flip flopped a lot. Like there were so many planner releases, there were so many things that were tempting, but I missed like all of the trendy releases and pre-orders, and then ultimately I was just not really inspired by any of the systems because they seemed to be like more and more complicated. And so I'm not into like rewriting information or transferring too much from like monthlies to weeklies to dailies. I just feel like it's so much. And so in my mind, there definitely was a conflict of like wanting the trendy stuff, FOMO, all of that kind of thing. But I knew I would never use them. So definitely I was trying to stop myself from ordering things just because it looked, cool and interesting. And many of the new like planner systems, like they don't just have a calendaring system, they have like the goals and all of that kind of stuff sort of worked in. And again, very interesting to me, but at the same time, I knew it was overwhelming. So I started my year, as I mentioned in my Techokaigi video, just printing my own inserts. And I was literally starting from like zero because I just wanted to start like from the bottom up. Like, what do I actually need? And then keep adding on what I actually feel like I need, as opposed to buying something that was a system and then fitting myself into that system. So I was working off a monthly calendar. I just printed out a monthly calendar and made sure that I had like the events, important dates, appointments, and things on it so that they wouldn't be missed. And at some point, I did try to use weekly inserts as well to incorporate like task tracking, but I quickly abandoned it. And I don't know why I always do this. I always try to force myself to use weekly inserts, and only to realize that it never works for me. I would basically be rewriting schedule things from like a monthly task list into weeklies, and then not being able to get to it, and then having to like migrate again, which is super annoying. I don't like the rewriting constantly. And it's probably another reason why bullet journaling is really hard for me. If I had to like migrate things like every single day, like, because things just get pushed, and it just doesn't work for like the way that like the time that I have available to do things. So I decided to totally simplify, just went with a running task list, like on a post-it note. So they are not planned for any specific day, not even only for the week. It's really for the whole month. Like the nature of my routine, lifestyle with 3 kids, it's just not predictable how much time I will have on a particular day. So I can't say I'm going to do like this one thing on this particular day, for sure. You just never know when someone's going to be sick or something else is going to happen. Work stuff, like how much time will be left, to squeeze something else in. So I tend to think that I have like a very boring routine life, but a lot does happen and it changes. So it's just not possible to know like how much time you have. And I know that goes against like planning in general, right? Because the whole point of planning is to like try to estimate like how much time you have, and telling yourself, okay, on this day I'm gonna do this, right? Like you're planning. But I have a 1.5-year-old baby right now, and even though she's supposed to nap 2 times a day, sometimes it doesn't happen. Everything goes haywire and it just throws off the entire day. So coming back to tasks, I try very hard to be ahead of the game because I know that I need that flexibility to be able to push things to another day, to another week even, because it might not be possible to do today. So even having that weekly task list seems too restrictive because I might be carrying something from this week to the next week like repeatedly. So I decided to have a monthly task list because most of my commitments, they like reset on a monthly basis. So I am referring to like creative business tasks and like personal projects and whatever responsibilities that I have that are on a monthly basis. I'm also a freelance designer and I work like on a project basis, but that is completely separate. And I don't put that in this kind of planning stuff only because like I really do treat it separately, and then there's all like the NDA stuff I can't like write. It has to be all destroyed afterwards, like all the notes and things like that. So it's completely separate. So I have my projects and personal tasks on this post-it note, and I'm using this laminated card that my daughter made me this, and I laminated it because I just want to see it. I think it's so cool. And I'm using it as the daily marker in my planner. So I have all the tasks I need to complete this month, and I just check them off as I do them as time permits. And of course, I do note deadlines if there is one associated, but sometimes there isn't really an associated deadline. Or like associated hard deadline, or hopefully I can get ahead of the game as well. Like my hope is to get like months ahead, so that if something grand happens, I'm still working off of my list, but it's okay if I'm like out of commission for a week, you know what I mean? So this was okay in terms of wait, let me go back. So what I was saying was that I was using a printable monthly calendar for like the events and things like that, and then a monthly task list. And it works out, except this printable calendar sits on my desk. It's, homemade printable monthly calendar. And I realized that sometimes I would not even go to my desk because time did not permit. So if I do not go to my desk every single day religiously and review the monthly calendar, then I'm going to lose the functionality of having this overview straight in my mind, right? And so that led me to remake this monthly calendar into a tiny insert to go into my Pocket TN, which I try to use as an EDC, because the whole point is to make sure I look at the monthly calendar regularly to keep track of high-level events, and then, of course, go to my task list when time permits to work on things. But obviously, that's usually like I'm at my desk because I need my computer. So the problem is, this EDC, which I've tried to use many times, I'm not sure why I find it so hard to use as like a daily log or notes, like, or bullet journal style or something. I don't know why. I just do not like writing in this like Passport TN. I have blank insert and, usually it's like grid or lined and I'm just supposed to take notes in it. But ultimately, throughout January, I just found myself like wanting something else. And I was like, maybe I should get a Moleskine daily because I don't need all of the other things in this Passport TN. And maybe it was being too influenced by seeing them all over, Instagram. And who doesn't love a small, cute notebook? And I realized that I really wanted to go back to daily logging. I had done the whole daily logging thing last year, like from like September onward, sort of. And I think I've showed this before. So it was like really simple, pen only, daily logging. But for some reason, I felt very influenced, like wanting a Moleskine. And then since the year had already gone, like we're already well into 2024, they were definitely on sale. And I was like, oh, maybe I could use it. But then I realized I don't like the Moleskine paper. The monthly calendar is very tiny and I already have my monthly made. I was just exasperated at myself for wanting to like jump around and then having to like rewrite and reset everything. And then I was thinking maybe I should be more open. Maybe it's okay to keep information in multiple places, like how people copy things from one planner to another, or like a portable planner to a desk planner. Again, all silly problems, like, silly, quote unquote, silly planner problems. But it is a functionality issue. So I was just trying to figure it out. And if I bought a Moleskine like daily to use, obviously I wouldn't use this Passport TN. And I was just like, I'm definitely like in a stationary no buy or low buy. So it was like an internal battle of wanting something, but not wanting it because like I shouldn't spend. And ultimately it was just all bothering me because I didn't have like a dated book. It's so much easier for me to do logs and things like that in a dated book because it's almost like there's a template and you're filling it in. Whereas having to do the daily logs yourself, like bullet journal style, you could skip days and then suddenly be like, whoa, I totally forgot what I did. I have no idea what I did. And that did happen, you know what I mean? And I don't know, it goes both ways, right? Like, do you like dated things or do you not? Because some people find it like too much pressure, especially if you don't like leaving blank pages. But my point is that I didn't want to leave blank pages. Like, I want to log the information. I actually want the daily log. And ultimately, it means building up a habit to like actually log the information. And I've done it before. It's very minimal, but you sort of have to decide like what do you want to log. So in all of this planner turmoil, I somehow thought a solution would be to like sort of start like a bullet journal, that would be an answer. And obviously I was delusional. Like sometimes I think when you're like thinking too much, you're in your head and then you suddenly think like something would be the answer and then you jump in and do it before even realizing like it totally doesn't make sense. That was me. So what was I thinking, right? Instead of buying like a new planner or something like that, I decided to do sort of like a bullet journal thing to log more information because I already had this notebook. in my stash, so I thought it was good to use something that I already had. And bullet journaling is supposed to be versatile, so I could like add what I needed and just like build it up and create a system that would fit me. All good intentions, just like the wrong solution for something that I should have known that doesn't work for me. Like, I jumped in, I decided to like decorate, and my thought was to create like a high level, like, this is my monthly task list, and then I can do like reflections and journaling, and then, write down other information like per project. It just became a thing. And then once I got into it, it was like, what am I doing? I was definitely lured in with like the creative aspect of making a pretty bullet journal and wanting it to be like a log of information, like how you see other people have. And it's so wonderful. And I do have a previous video about this because I was just like, what am I doing? Now I just want to trash it. I just hate it. I want to trash this bullet journal. And it's probably because I had completely unrealistic expectations of how like cool and aesthetic it would be, and who knows what I was fantasizing in my head. But ultimately, it literally solved like 0 functional issues. It's like, what was I thinking, right? It is not a daily log because that I wouldn't be able to keep up with that and can't carry this around. It's like, it's pretty big. And maybe it's because I'm like an all or nothing kind of person. Usually I throw away my planners because they're messy and functional, so it's like all or nothing. Either it's messy, crazy, and I just trash it, or if I'm going to keep it, then it has to be like amazing and beautiful. But obviously I was not hitting that expectation. I've never been like a creative bullet journaler making like amazing spreads. So what was I thinking? And the information in here, like the monthly task list, is pretty much the same as what I'm on my have on my post-it note to do like those tasks. So why do I need to double up? And then subsequently trying to make up like types of data that I would put into this bullet journal. And again, it's like a glorified sort of journal and still wouldn't have all the information tracked. So it's just really bare, and I guess that's why I hated it. So that was a complete detour. The things that people who love notebooks like us do, right? I was delusional. So after that, that's when I started searching yet again for a daily planner, sort of like the Moleskine Daily. And ultimately it was because I just wanted to go back doing the daily logs, but I didn't want to date it myself. I wanted something dated. And the point was to just log the events, log the tasks that I did, and also my meals, and like commentary maybe, and like the events in terms of like when someone would come visit or something would happen, because I would find myself not remembering like, when did that happen? When did that person come over? I just wanted that like basic framework of like daily log, of our day information to be there. And it would help with memory keeping because my memory is bad. I don't even remember what we ate yesterday, kind of thing. And you can do detective, go into your camera roll and try to like figure things out, but it would be so much better just to have it documented in a daily log, right? So I've done daily logs before, so I know that I can do it and I do like it. I just wasn't sure how long it would last, because there are times where it gets repetitive because many of your tasks are repetitive, like school routines and pickups and laundry, all that kind of like everyday tasks. And it's like, do I need to write that down every single time, right? And looking back at my previous daily log, I did it for many months, and I realized, I guess the missing component that caused me to jump into the whole bullet journaling was the creative component, right? I was missing that. The daily log is all good, but maybe it lacks some like types of information or commenting or journaling that I usually don't do. But it's just this whole mindset that I was locked into of thinking planning has to be pen only, and maybe it's messy and I'm just going to trash it, so who cares? But if you know anything about like my channel, my journals and things like that, I'm not a minimal girl. I'm the kind of person that's like, please add another sticker. So you can see that in like my journaling and my collage. that's what I personally create, even though I think the minimal style is like very cool and chic. And so I had locked myself into this weird mindset of thinking planning can't have deco because I'm going to throw it away. And it just took this like whole whirlwind in the new year of trying new things and being frustrated to realize, like, why am I boxing myself in like that? You know, I don't have to throw away my planner, and it doesn't have to just be pen only. And that's how I ended up here. I did my research. I was looking at the options available, like the Moleskine Daily and similar things. And I have, post-it notes and things for like note taking and messy writing, inbox kind of thing. But I basically ended up getting a daily planner, and it's lightly decorated, like not full on collage or anything like that, but it's fun to look at and easy to keep up with and has my daily logs. So I guess I've done like a 180. Instead of trashing my planner, I'm really using my planner as like a log, right? It's a daily log book / planner. And even though I still trash sort of like these post-it notes and things of the task, but it would have been noted in the dailies if I was working on something or finished something, so it's fine. And of course, I'm still figuring out and learning what it is I want to log, how I want to format things. But for for example, work, as in like the freelance work stuff, which is like completely quote unquote separate, but I still want to note like the days that I do work, I'm just going to put it in this upper right hand corner with a check mark, so I know that day I did do freelance work, so which is like completely separate. But yeah, this daily planner has like timestamps, so you can follow along and write down, like log actual events and tasks and things, or you can ignore and just use the lines, right? Okay, so let me go back and explain properly. This is a daily planner, and it's by a company called Poprun. You can find this brand on Amazon and like big box shops. I think it's in like Walmart and stuff like that. It's an international brand, so you can find it easily here in Europe as well, which is good for me. And I already ripped off like the paper branding band that it came in. It was wrapped in plastic when it arrived. It's basically ships very similar to like a Moleskine. And the company information says that it's a brand from China, and they have a website and Instagram and Facebook, so you can definitely go online and check everything out. They have a variety of planner types and sizes, and I originally thought the small size was like a pocket Moleskine, but it's actually A6 size, and it's actually a little taller than A6 size, so you can see like compared to Hobonichi A6. But the thickness is pretty much similar to the Moleskine Daily for comparison. So Poprun, they have variety of colors, sizes, formats available, like cover types. I chose this small size daily planner in this like very, very, very light pink. It's almost like nude beige, like washed out. And I really like it. It's like chic and pretty for sure. And I don't know if I'm going to decorate the front or not, but we will see what happens. And it's a hardcover, sort of like the Moleskine hardcover. But it has sort of like a texture, like very slight texture if you were to touch it next to the Moleskine. The Moleskine seems very like plasticky, if that makes sense. Whereas this one has like the slightest texture if you're like comparing side by side. So the front cover, it says 2024 up here in gold foiling, and they also have this Time Works Wonders logo on the bottom. It's on all of their planets, so it must be like their logo mark. And it doesn't really look centered to me, so I'm not sure if it's supposed to be like that or if I just received a faulty one. Just something to note. Doesn't really bother me, but something to note. And like a Moleskine, it has a paper pocket on the back, and it also comes with like the elastic, but it also comes with an elastic pen loop, so it's built in, and it's pretty sturdy. But I'm currently using a Sarasa clip like gel pen, which has like this rubber part here, so it doesn't slide through. So I don't know. I mean, I don't want to change pens though. I want to use this, so I'm not really using this elastic. I'm just putting in the front like this. And then when you open up the planner, there is an opening page with branding and the Time Works Wonder logo. It's blank here, but I already printed out this artwork from IG, from Mirabella Creations, and I washi taped it on the front because it is a nice reminder and easy deco. So I just want something pretty to look at first thing when I open this. Next page is just publishing info, title page. I put these sticky notes from that my daughter gave me, and my idea is to add a family photo here once I get one that I want to use, because I think these are like the deco things that are nice to see on a daily basis. So in this planner, you get like an info page that you're supposed to put all your personal details, sort of like 411 type of information, but I only put my name and email, like my website card from a long time ago that I found in my stuff. I think that would be enough to like contact me if I ever lost this. And this is definitely has like Moleskine vibes in a sense, because on the next page there is a travel planner page, which is interesting that it's like the first page in this planner. So great if you're prioritizing travel, but it's minimal enough that you could decorate it and like transform it into any other kind of page. I don't know what I will be using it for yet, so it's blank. Then you will get your year at a glance 2024, 2025. It's pretty small, but it gives you room down here for notes. It has like a little eye like information symbol here, so maybe you could use it as future planning or just like general notes. Not sure how I will use it. And this being a multilingual country kind of planner, similar to the Moleskine, it has everything labeled in English, but then also like French and I don't know, German, like other languages. And so there's this spread that has like all the holidays listed by country, and it has like a lot, like so many European countries. Each in its like country's language. And I was looking at this, I was like, what's the difference between Belgians and Belgique? I don't know. They must be because of different languages that are spoken in that country, right? But yeah, informational pages. So obviously you can use it or cover it up. Next are the year-long monthly interviews. So there's no grid the way it is in the Hobonichi planners that sometimes people will use it as like a tracker. So in this one's like really small, so maybe you could do like a word of a day. It's a pretty small space, so I don't know how I'll use it, but it's 3 months a page, and the weekends are highlighted in gray. And it's interesting that they use like Roman numerals at the top for the months. Something different. Then there is an expenses spread, which is interesting. Don't see this a lot in planners, but I don't know if there's enough space for like a year though, or maybe it's meant to be like a template for like reoccurring expenses. That's interesting. Then we have the birthday calendar spread, which I've already filled out. So just by the month, like what are the birthdays per month? Then you jump into the dated pages. And basically every month starts on the left page with a linear monthly calendar. So it's like a bullet journal style. It doesn't have like the boxes, you know, calendar, monthly calendar. And so this is what you get. And I'm not sure how I'm going to use it. Maybe like an editorial calendar. And as you can see, I've already added deco and things like that. On the monthlies, I'm going to be putting my monthly printable motivation that I create for my Ko-fi supporters every month. So I'm just going to put that over this side. And by the way, the monthly calendar has like the holidays and things like that already noted by country. So it's not a lot of room really to like write your information, I think. It's very limited space and only one line a day. So after the monthly calendar, you get the daily pages. And on this first one, I did like a pen test, so it's like a huge mess. That's why I covered it up. But let me look. Okay, so the daily pages are basically like this, with the top header with the month, year, week number, date, day of the week, like again in all the languages. And then there's a lined area with a timed schedule. It's hourly. And then you have a little notes area on the back. It has a little pen symbol, like a fountain pen symbol. And then it has the mini calendar for the month you're in and the next month. So all the daily spreads are like this. There is a very light gray shading in this lined lined areas. So it goes like that for every single day, and Saturday and Sunday, like every single day gets its own page, so nothing is like split up, which I like. I don't like it when Saturday and Sunday are combined. And it goes like this until you get to the next month. And I wanted to show you, if the daily pages end on the left side, then they give you an extra line page on the right that's just like blank, because the month will always start on the left side. So you get the monthly, linear, like monthly calendar, and then the daily pages start. So this goes from January 1st to December 31st, like the 2024 year, and that's it, no extras. And at the very end, after all of these daily pages, you get the same sort of yearly calendar overview for 2025. So I guess you should be using this for your future log. Then there are about like 10 dot grid pages, which is interesting because they're like dot grid now, and for like notes and things like that. And by the way, the corners of all of the pages in this planner have this perforated punched area, which is meant to be ripped out when you finish like using that day. So it sort of creates like a natural, bookmark to where you are at in the book. I'm not using it, like I'm not ripping it out. I also found that when I first like jumped into this planner, because of the way because of the holes that were punched to make this perforation, a lot of the pages were like stuck together. So I had to like be careful in not ripping the page when I'm like separating them. So you don't want to be like too rushed or rough with it. So just something to note. And at the very, very end, there's contact page. And it's horizontal for some reason. It's like the only horizontal spread, but I guess it's because it could fit more information in that way. So you could write down name, address, phone, email. Good for emergency contacts and things like that, because as you know, we never remember anything anymore. Like if your phone dies, you're not going to have that info. But I don't know if I like having like sensitive information in a book if you're gonna like carry it out of the house, is what I mean. So I don't know. And then the back has the paper pocket and pen loop that I mentioned before. And that is the planner. It is taller than A6 size, as you can see, but it is a smidge less wide. It's a good fit in the hand, and it's definitely like not too small for me to write in. So I like it. I thought it was smaller like the pocket moleskin, but I actually like having the more like breathing space and room. And I've been working on creating like a proper inbox system, but my inbox is all over the place because I take screenshots, I take notes in my notes app. I have these sticky notes in the back for when I want to like write something down messy and like stick it in because it needs to be processed because it's like inbox. I don't know. I realized that like things that I put in my inbox, it's like notes where I'm like making more to-dos for myself. So I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. But yeah, I just need to remember to process everything when you have all these like inbox items, like when you take screenshots, taking like a gajillion screenshots to take notes, but like when do you actually go through and process them, right? So I'm definitely still working out my system, and you will see that I do have deco in here, and I've been doing daily logs, but it's changing a little bit, like in terms of what I'm logging and how I'm logging it. I'm okay with the fact that it's like sort of, inconsistent right now because I'm still trying to figure it out. Like what do I want to log? And like what pieces of information are actually useful to me. And it's obviously very personal because it depends on what you're using it for. Like if I'm using it to jog my memory of what happened so I can do my memory keeping, then I need to take note of the things that apply, as well as having like the general framework of like what happened that day, because I hate it when like you don't remember, you know what I mean? Like, what did I do? I hate that. So I really want like my daily logs to fill in all of that information. Yeah, so this is what I have so far. Light deco, and obviously like there are white spaces and things like that. So definitely working, still working it out. And I'm definitely wanting to keep like more of an eye on my finances. So I thought it would be good to note it in this bottom section here, because I sort of didn't know what to put in this bottom section. It's obviously separated on purpose. So it'd be interesting to figure out like how I want to use that. So, right now it's definitely sort of inconsistent because I'm shifting how I log certain information like here and there from day to day. I have this like my daily logs since the beginning of the year, except for the first day. Obviously, that's a whole pen test thing. Which, by the way, I did not mention the whole pen test thing. I should show you. I tried using fountain pen, and obviously using like the 1.1 stub nib did not work out. It like bled through. But if you use like extra fine, it totally works out. But then some other pens did bleed. Well, it's not really pens. I think it's the ink. So if you have a dry ink, fountain pen actually works. But if you have like a very wet ink, so you sort of have to like try it and figure it out. But ultimately, I end up just not using fountain pen. I'm just using a gel pen. And there's like very light ghosting, but it doesn't bleed through. I think it's very comparable to the moleskin paper, but for some reason I just like it more. It's not that creamy color, but it's not stark white. It's like in between the moleskin creamy and like regular white printer paper, so like somewhere in between. Yeah, so these are my daily logs, and if you're wondering about the monthly calendar, if I'm not using this like bullet journal monthly calendar, it's because I still have like it on my desk, and I still have the passport sized one. Like I already have them made, so the information is already there. So I don't know if I'll like carry it together or keep like the one on my desk and keep the one on my downstairs in like the family area. And I don't think it's that hard to like duplicate the information because there's not that much stuff going on in terms of like, appointments and things. It's mostly all about my kids. So I don't know. I know I don't like duplicating information, but I feel like it's not that much. So, we're talking about like 1 minute, 30 seconds to like write something down. So again, I'm doing a 180 with my old mindset of what I thought like things should be, and now it's like completely different. So I'm settled in this like quote unquote planner system or logging system, whatever you want to call it, and I hope that it doesn't change. I'm definitely going to keep this because of the deco and that kind of thing. And we'll see what happens. So we all know that when you switch sizes, sometimes even the brand of the notebook, like the paper seems to switch, because originally I had seen a review of this planner, but an A5 size, and they used fountain pen in it, like huge, like crazy thick fountain pen, and it didn't bleed through. But my you can see here, like this ink bled through, and it's just like a Pilot Metropolitan medium, but I think it's the ink that bleeds through. It feathers and bleeds like crazy. But like another ink that I used didn't bleed through, so I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, if you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. My real life people, they are not into stationery, they're not into planners, they don't really care about this kind of stuff. So I feel like my YouTube videos are very like me talking to like-minded stationery people who care about these kinds of topics and things and like chit-chatting. So I hope you enjoyed listening. Obviously, I'm just going to do a little flip here. Like my deco, it's nothing like revolutionary or anything, but it gives me like simple joys. And I guess that's why people deco in their planners. Like, it's not just about the functionality. You also want it to be a nice space to be in. And that totally makes sense. Duh. Like, why was I always like giving myself rules? You know what I mean? Like just making up rules for myself for no reason. So thank you so much for being here. Say hello in the comments below. Normally my videos are not this long, but I've just had all of this on my mind, so I'm just like, sharing it. So if you like stationery and definitely journaling videos, please hit subscribe, the like button. I will be posting weekly and sharing more of that. And if you want to support me more, remember that I am a digital designer. I post on Ko-fi. It's a community where you can support me with tips or sign up as a member to get weekly printable downloads. I post every single Friday a download for my Ko-fi members. I also have a blog, and it's tortagialla.com, and I've been posting totally free digital downloads there for years and years and years. So you can go and check out those digital papers and embellishments and things to help in your creative journaling, planner decor, and memory keeping. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much, and until next time, bye!